When I think about the work I did in neighborhoods, for example, I still live in the neighborhood that I did a lot of community development work in. And so one of the things I think a lot about is there are many rewards in leadership. Um, you see a lot of things that can transpire because you've been with people that you really care about. You care about the community you live in. You want to see things happen. And so all of those are rewards. You know, when I was able to coach staff that worked in the neighborhood organization, for example, and I was a volunteer in the organization and could coach them, and to this day, many of them say, "Oh, you were really tough, but I've learned so much." And you know, you really wanted the best out of me, and so that's important to me. But and those are rewards. When you see someone that's moved on and is doing great things, and you know that you knew them when, you know, that's a great reward. When you see housing development on the street that there was just an old abandoned building there for many, many years. When you see the library that's been renovated, when we were told it would be shut down, all of those kinds of things give you a wonderful feeling. But at the same time, I always talk about there's also risks in leadership. And when I think about neighborhood leadership, I think I think about the fact that it's not only where you might work or where you might volunteer, but you live there. And day in and day out, everybody knows you. And so as you step forward and as you take on, whether it's different projects or different efforts or really trying to make change in community, sometimes it looks good to others and sometimes it doesn't. So there are tough times when you're a leader as well. And I try to talk to people about that. You know, there are many, many rewards. What will you do when it gets tough? How do you support yourself? How do you help others to support you in ways that are going to get you through the tough times? Because it's not always a piece of cake, you know. And I've had those experiences where I felt, oh God, why can't they see I'm doing this for the community. I'm not doing this for personal gain. I'm not doing this because I want to make more money in the future. I'm not doing this so that I have advantage to these, you know, new opportunities. Those aren't things that are in the front of my mind. What's in the front of my mind is how will this change the lives of a group of people who are living in rundown, awful apartments and deserve to have better housing. But not everybody can see that you're as transparent as you think you are. So that takes extra effort. And I remember going to my mother one time and saying, "Why is it so hard? I'm trying to do the best I can, and it's not always understood." She said, "Look around you. There are many people that support you, and there are many people that you stand with. But there's always going to be times where somebody's going to doubt what you're doing, and you're going to have to live with that. And you can do your best to try to convince people that you're really out for the best of the community. But you're not always going to convince everybody, so you can quit or you can keep moving forward. And you can try to bridge a relationship and bridge the trust. But there may be times that no matter what you do, it's not going to make a difference. So again, are you here for the community or are you here to make your life easy?" And I had to think about that. But I do try to have people really reflect on what might be the risks and what might be, you know, the opportunities. Because the other thing is that people's lives change when you take on more visible leadership in community. People may expect more of you, or people may call on you more. You may want to be more engaged. So families don't always understand, you know, that commitment that you may have. And I think that's also something that I've looked at over the years.